Get in there, Burnley. Get in there, Burnley. Yes. We are fucking staying up. Maybe.
Ooh.
Who knows? We'll discuss a little bit. Evening, everyone. Apologies, I'm a little bit late. I was stuck in traffic. Simon's playing a guitar by the sounds of it as well. But I got stuck in traffic on the way home from night games because this dickhead decided to move to the other side of fucking Burnley. But yes, we've won a game. Burnley 3, Everton 2. Finally, I didn't think that were going to come in the first half. I'm going to be honest with you, but it did come. I was slagging Dash off at half-time saying he needs to earn his 125 grand a week. He did. So it's about time as well. Boys, welcome. Simon, how are you doing? You okay?
I'm buzzing, mate. Absolutely delighted. I think
Cheers.
it was. Cheers, mate. Do you know what? I ain't got beer. I'll come back to that one. But yeah, no, I'm
I'll join you in a brew.
I've had a brew, but you've tempted me with a beer. No, I'm buzzing. I think it was a game that I think everybody that spoke to me, including yourself, Joe, I genuinely can't see us not winning this game. I have no doubts in my mind that we will win this game. That is not how I felt at half time, but genuinely,
that's not how I felt at all. I would just put that out there. I did not feel that.
We can't lose this game. This is our game, and everyone could honestly. I tweeted it. If we win today, we will stay up. If we get beat, we will go down. That's how imperative a result was today to our
right.
season.
So you're going early with the we are staying up. You think that's
100%,
it? Now? You think we're going to stay up?
It's very rarely I've got negative sort of points at this season, but it got very close to me saying we're going down. So instead of saying we're going down, I'm like, if we do not win this weekend, then we're going down.
At half time, I was ready to join the Dash Out crew. I'm not going to lie. I was fuming with that first half performance. Daniel, you've messaged me about that first half performance. You were sort of like my sort of thinking, weren't you? How we turned that game around, I do not know. Because that first half was shite, weren't it?
Yeah. And that's understatement of the year. It was dog shit. It was utter shit, horse shit, cat shit. It was just honestly absolutely
every type of shit.
Exactly. It was just one of those things where you just thought typical Burnley performance. We did it at Goodison, went 1-0 up, and then all of a sudden crumbled. And I just thought, typical. We've done it again. Arsenal fell out, and then I thought, right, half time came about, and I thought, I'm not going to get pissed off. I'm not going to get pissed off. I'm going to sit there, and I'm going to absorb it and think, I'd love to be a fly on the wall, because I'd love to know what Dash said. I'd love to have seen Dash doing some sort of like Peaky Blinder-esque, like Neil Warnock type sort of speech in there. Like, no fighting, but you've got to fucking die to get 3 points. And at the end of the day, we did. Well, I can breathe a lot easier now, but I have gone through every emotion through that 90 minutes. I think I went through more emotion in that game than I did at Wembley in 2009.
Yeah, you know what? I was very emotional. Probably not Wembley 2009 levels of emotional, but I tell you what, I weren't far off it. We were, honestly, first half, we got that goal. I'm like, buzzing, yes. And then for some reason, we'll just summarise the game now. I'll go first. But for some reason, we got the goal, and I thought we were playing okay. By the way, but just before I do start, evening, Garros, he says, what a game. Having to have a nightcap now to lower the heart rate. Cheers, Garros. There you go. Just do a cheers on your phone or whatever you're watching if you're having a beer. But first off, we got that goal and we played all right. And I remember thinking, we got the goal. I mean, Dad said to me, right, let's hope Everton's heads drop now. And it wasn't their heads that dropped. It were ours. We got the goal and we shit ourselves. We just capitulated. I don't get it. It's fucking... that first half was shite. Honestly, it really was shite. But second half, like I said, I tweeted at half time saying Dash needs to come out and earn his money. And I think he did. I think he made some subs that he needed to make. Lawton, I've been saying for fucking ages now, I do not rate Connor Roberts, and I'm sick to death of people under the age of 21 criticising me on Twitter because they've all got this weird Roberts agenda like he's some sort of good defender, because he's not. I've been saying, he's all right going forward, but that weren't example today. He wasn't doing that today. It was every time an attacker went towards Roberts, he just moved out of the way. Like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, man? Dan, actually, I'll stop here. Dan, I'll bring you in because you watched it on the TV, didn't you? Yeah. I was on the game. I saw the second penalty incident on the screen. Looked a blatant pen to me. I don't know why everyone were kicking off. But the first one, obviously, I've not seen a replay of it, but it did look poor, like a poor challenge. But it looked soft, but a penalty. Is that a fair assessment?
I personally don't think it's a penalty. And even that's even with the claret tinted glasses off. I just think he has made such a meal of it. He has literally He is literally sort of. I can understand. You can see them giving it is ridiculously soft, but you would expect a man of Mark Dean's caliber to know that happens week in, week out.
Well,
That sort of penalty, that a goal got ruled out for Leicester against Man United last week. For a similar situation. And there were no penalty incident. That was so. I understand he had his hands on him. There were a bit of a battle there, but I think he makes the most of the situation. He jumps. He sort of like elevates himself and then drops. Honestly, it's like he's just jumped on the edge of a diving board and sort of just flopped over.
Yeah.
The second one, as you say, he's clipped him. He's took his standing leg. I can understand why that one were given, but the first one, very iffy. And somebody asked me if it was at the other end of the pitch, would you be saying the same thing? I'd be saying it's ridiculously soft, but the fact that it's for my team, I won't be arguing. Of course I wouldn't. But it is extremely soft, and you'd have expected somebody of Mark Dean to have just gone, nah, see that too often.
Well, he nearly did, didn't he? He stopped for a little bit and thought about it. And I think he might have had a word in his ear with the linesman or something, and they discussed it. They both said, I thought that was a pen. Do you think it's a pen? Like I said, from the ground, I thought it was a pen, but I've not seen any replay, so I can't comment. The only thing that annoyed me is they made him go and check it, which I guess is a scenario of them thinking they were both penalties anyway, but they made him go and check that one, whereas he didn't really go that deep into the first one. But Simon, you look like you wanted to come in at one point. What were your thoughts on the pens? I don't know if you've actually seen them, to be fair, mate.
I've not seen the replays, obviously. I saw it live on the turf, but from my angle, straight away, I was like, what? Yeah, my heart dropped as soon as that contact was made. And I was saying to the people around me, my dad included, and David, and I was saying, that is ridiculously stupid from us, from our point of view. It's like, I want our striker in that scenario to do the exact same thing. It might be soft, but at the end of the day, there were fouls, and going to the one where Mark Dean didn't even give one of them, but VAR did, and then he's had to go and sort of say, as soon as VAR says, go and have a look at it, you're always going to give it, aren't you? Let's be honest, it's very rare.
Yeah. I knew as soon as it came on the screen, you just know, well, 95% certain when it came on the screen, and then when he went over to the thing, definitely going to be given.
I'll tell you how bad it is. If he's going to give that first penalty to Everton, then he has to give us a penalty for the corner incident. That's how soft the penalty was.
I agree with that. The only difference was the feet getting swiped from under
I felt like Cornet were looking for it. I don't really.
It's all with the others, yeah.
Yeah, but with the other ones, there's I don't know. Like I said, I've not seen the replay of the first one. I feel like there's more contact. But it was Westwood, weren't it, that brought the first guy down?
Yeah.
What the fuck is he doing? He got in front of him. He turned and looked at Nick. Then whoever it was got back in front of him, and then he gives a penalty away. It's just like,
it's the first thing he's fucking brought down all season, because everything else he pings up in air. So
exactly.
The both penalties were mistakes on positioning that led to them being in that position that then made us fumble.
That's one, Mark.
We ended there. We had a position where Westwood almost looked at Charlie Taylor to deal with it, and then realised he wasn't going to deal with it, and felt that it was his situation to deal with.
That happened against City, though, didn't it? That something came across again. And they're both always looking around, just like they're just pouring at the back of the net, which is unusual.
And again, it was with Charlie Taylor on his side. Then the opposite side, Connor Roberts has gone so far into the midfield role that they've just left a huge gap in behind that Lennon's then had to go chasing. And again, it was positioning.
Yeah, look at that incident. I think it were beginning of the second half. I'm not quite sure whenabouts it were, but Connor Roberts is literally on the edge of our box. Richarlison's just got a simple tap in if he actually could get the ball from under his feet. He had loads of space, and you just let him run into it. He's been all right, Roberts. I'm not going to say that he's been great. He's been all right. When Lawton were injured, he came in. He's done a job. But I don't think he's got used to that sort of Burnley way of playing yet.
Yeah, I think you're being kind there, to be honest, Dan. I was on the fence.
I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be nice just because we've got to win.
I was on the fence a little bit with Roberts because he came in and he showed a little bit of oomph. And I wasn't necessarily thinking that Lawton didn't have it, but Lawton, I do sometimes think Lawton needs a rest. Even when we're back in the days of Bardsley, I do think sometimes Lawton needs it. But he's so much a better right back. And I thought both fullbacks were poor today. Charlie Taylor ended up doing really well with the assist and stuff, so he's kind of rescued himself there. But I thought both fullbacks were poor. Roberts more especially. But if you are going to tweet anything about Connor Roberts, don't use his first name, just use Roberts, because his wife searches the name and then gives people abuse. I don't know if you've seen that. So if you're going to tweet how shit he is, then I'd rather you didn't do it because you'll just get abuse.
You'll just
So we
get, do you
mentioned
know
the
how
Cornet
close to
thing.
death he was? Do you know
I've
how
seen
close to
that.
death
I've
he
seen
was?
that. Exactly. Simon, I want to bring you in. We didn't really get your thoughts on the game really because I digressed into the penalties with Dan. So what were your thoughts on the game, Simon, like overall?
I mean, I weren't really prepared to sort of surmise it, but at the end of the day, it was just because I was so buzzing. I completely forgot to sort of like give a match summary in my head that I thought, right, I'm going to go in, I'm going to mention these things. Just kind of maybe that nerves that was on in the audience, in the fans, everyone just came there because there were stupid things that were happening that never happened for Burnley. These things shouldn't happen.
They were definitely. You could tell.
Nick Pope dropped 3 crosses. 3 crosses. That shit don't happen. We would put our house on him catching a cross. And 2 of them, he looked like he had them all day long. And then one of them he dropped and Lawton booted it out. The other one he dropped and then got on top of it. Penalty incidents, kind of like frustrating that he's gone the same way twice. But the nerves of everyone, because it was seen so obviously for me, more obviously than anywhere else, was Tarkowski and Collins. Because they kept trying to play out from the back and it was almost like, right, you do it. No, you do it. And then all of a sudden it was like, shit, what do we do here? And then we were on the back foot, and it was so scary as the fan base to watch that. So I imagine that was transferred onto the players because they were doing things that we don't normally do. The simple things that we're doing.
I didn't really get the playing out from the back thing. Everton are known to press. That's one of the only things that they could probably do quite well at the minute. They're known to press with, what's it called? Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison up front. They will press you. Dan, your thoughts on the game? Because again, we digressed into the penalties, didn't we? What did you think about the game overall?
As Simon said, there are a few things that were very un-Burnley-like. I mean, we've won a game while having the most possession. How's that? How's that happened?
My dad were reading the stats out after the game, and he's like, "What were it? 51-49. All right, it's marginally more, but still for Burnley, we'll take it." I was like, "What's all that about?"
The thing were, right, as you said, there were a few nerves in there. Don't get me wrong. And as you said, they were, Everton are a good pressing side. Tarky had too much time with the ball at his feet when practically could have given away another goal. During the match, Rondon gave us a good scare at the end. Being inches away from the post. If anything, we've been a team that have been built on hard graft, and sometimes just one moment of madness from the opposition can change our mentality. At first, I will admit, I'll put my hands in the air and I will say, when he took Roberts off and brought Lawton on, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why, Dash, have you gone like for like again? Like, we've seen this many a times this season. This like for like shit doesn't work. And all of a sudden you're changing a right back. What's all that about? I don't know why, but I'm fucking glad he did.
Yeah, I think he did that because Richarlison were bullying him. He was absolutely tearing him to shreds. He were constantly just getting beaten too easily, and he thought, I need someone who's gonna be a bit more aggressive and maybe put some tackles in. And then Lawton comes on, kicks him in the first 30 seconds, and I think that made Richarlison realise he was actually in the game at that point, and then he kind of shied away from it a little bit. Simon, you nearly said something then.
So it's difficult for me because obviously I cut Roberts and Lawton, so I don't want to go into too much of a sort of personal avenue of it. But even I can't not say that we don't look better defensively. Is Roberts the future of Burnley Football Club over Matt Lawton? Absolutely. Is he the right player for this next 6 games? Well, we need to get wins. We need to get a finger. At the minute, I've said it all along, and I've said it from the beginning, even when Matt Lawton was in and people were crying to see Connor Roberts. I said I'd like to see him on right midfield because defensively, for Wales, he doesn't do much of it. He's always on the attack, on the overlaps. I'd like to see him partner up more than replace at the minute. So that's my way of getting out of it. But I think Lawton come on, and I genuinely thought, I mean this, I'm throwing it out there, and it's controversial. I was surprised it didn't happen at halftime because it needed to be done.
I would criticising Dash left, right, and centre. I'm not going to lie. I was thinking in my head, would I be that bothered if he walked? Now, no. All right, might have been a bit reactionary because of the first half, but it just doesn't make substitutions at half time. And that was my thinking. I was thinking I'd take take Westwood off and put Cork on, and I'd also do that. I'd take Roberts off and put Lawton on, but I just knew it weren't going to happen. I'm glad that it happened eventually with the Lawton one. And in the end, obviously, we got the win, so the midfield isn't really under too much scrutiny. But again, in the first half, that midfield was so poor.
I'll tell you one thing I can admit I got wrong. I would have had Cornet off at 70th minute. And he was the one who obviously scored that goal.
To be honest, when he brought Dwight on, the woman behind me were like, I hope he's taking Corney off. And then obviously he didn't. She went, I'm surprised he's not took Corney off. So you're not the only one.
I thought the same thing, mate, because he were even tracking back. And even when he tracked back, he couldn't be arse running forwards. He was blowing. He was hanging out of his arse. And I remember looking at the clock and I thought, we've got 70 minutes, to be fair. We usually only get an hour before he's doing this. So we've got an extra 10 minutes here, but 90 minutes under his belt. And he's on his way to that dash fit, as we all know that he needs to get to.
He needed that goal, didn't he? Let's be honest. He's not great since AFCON. He played okay against City, but he needed that goal. He really needed that goal. And hopefully he can kick on from here, because he was classic first half of the season. But let's be honest, he's been pretty shy recently. But I thought, obviously, he got the goal, so hopefully that's going to make him kick on. Simon, you want to say something?
Yeah, sorry, I've got two screens on here, so I keep looking like I'm animated at you, and I'm not. I'm animated at what I'm reading. Matt Green commented there about Roberts being good if you let him develop and more unreal. He's unreal for Wales at beating the last man and getting the crossing. The problem is, in a minute, he ain't getting the crosses in for Burnley, and we ain't got time for anyone to develop in the squad. We have literally got to survive this season. I don't care how we do it. Get Peter Crouch back if that's what we needed at the time. I don't give a shit who does it. If fucking Sam Allardyce come in as a number 2 and said, this is how you stay up, mate, I don't give a shit. I'll take anything right now. But we ain't got time for development, unfortunately.
No, I agree. I'd have Lowton in for the rest of the season. Sorry, Lowton.
I bet you don't play.
No, he won't. I've not. And what were we saying? What were we saying, Jack Cork, about the midfield thing? Oh, it'll put me in for City, and I bet you any money he takes him out, and that's exactly what happened, weren't it?
Nearly football up then, yeah.
I did, didn't I? But I was just talking from his perspective, obviously.
What you imagine he was saying.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting plenty of comments in, so thank you. Keep getting your comments in. I've not really put too much on or discussed too much. Mike Green, thank you for the sub. Garros says, why don't the club announce the fact that they'll be allowing players to break their fast mid-game? Poor taste, the Everton lad being booed. I assume the fans didn't know why he was time wasting. Yeah, that will be close to time wasting.
They should announce that, though, to be fair, because even I were like, what the fuck
going on here? Yeah, it's one of them, though. Can you announce it over the tannoy? We're just going to wait 2 minutes while this lad...
You don't even need to say it. You just put it on the screen, don't you? Like Happy Eid or something. And then everyone would be like, oh, yeah, shit, yeah, fair enough. I forgot.
That would work.
Happy Ramadan or whatever it is.
Yeah. Mike Green says, who is a Welsh fan, by the way, when you were just sort of like dissecting what he said about Wales. He says, even at half-time, when you were trailing 2-1, you were the better team. I don't agree with that, Mike. I thought we were poor in the first half. I wouldn't necessarily say Everton were the better team. I just thought it were two dog shit teams.
We had more of the ball. We had more of the ball. That I can say. We definitely dominated in terms of ball retention, but we didn't do anything with it. We've seen it. We've seen that when we watch England. Internationally, they can piss around with a ball for 90 minutes, sticking it in the back of the net. Growing up through the 90s, that's what we struggle with. And as I say, in the end, we got there. Sunday becomes massive. Sunday has become big and out. To be fair, when we drew with West Ham, and obviously the game after was meant. I think it was meant to be Watford after West Ham at the time.
Yeah.
And when we drew, I thought the draw West Ham, it means nothing unless we get a result against Watford. However, we've got the result against it. 4 points for me is not good enough in these 2 games. It needs to be 6 points.
It's one of that. I probably would have taken 4 in the way that we've done it. If I'd have taken 4, I'd have had to beat Everton and draw against Norwich. But I know what you're saying. You have to follow it up with a win now, because I think they've got Chelsea at the weekend. Is it? We've got Norwich. We can.
Man United, I think.
Is it Man United? Right.
They're still to play Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea. They're still to play them all. Anyway, they've got to play Leicester twice as well, and Leicester are still fighting to try and finish in the top half of the table. So.
Yeah, so we could be out of the relegation zone by Sunday. That is mad. It's one of them. We need to follow it up. It's kind of pointless winning this game and then losing against Norwich. Well, have you
seen the video I retweeted, Joe?
No, I'm not. I've been driving home, mate.
It showed all the players get together at the full-time whistle, and they're all huddled up, and Barnes, Lennon, and Cornet are all huddling, and Pope walks over, wraps his arm around them all, and all you hear, clear as day, is him shout, "We're not fucking dead yet. We're not fucking dead." And
I did see someone mention that tweet, that thing actually, but I haven't seen the actual video.
Yeah, but I've retweeted it.
It was a pivotal result. If we without this result, it doesn't mean that we're staying up, but it definitely means that we were going down, in my opinion, if we didn't win today.
Yeah,
7 points
I
adrift.
agree.
Is phenomenally big for a team that doesn't get many wins in a season.
But
we
look
have
what
to beat
happened the other
Norwich.
season. Look what happened the other season. We're playing Leicester at home. We looked dead and buried. All right, it was a little bit earlier than this. It was like February or January, but we looked dead and buried. And I think they went 1-0 up and they had a penalty. Popey saved Vardy's penalty, and then that was the pivotal moment in that season. We went on to it. This could easily be the pivotal moment in the season, and that's why it's massive. That's why it's huge.
Yeah, 100%. The thing is, like you said, momentum, Joe, keyword for you, this one is a key thing in football.
Momentum's a big thing in football. Momentum is a big thing in football. Shout
Joe
out to Phil Brown. Shout out to Phil Brown for saying it to me. Fly over Fred. I'm just going back to some comments, like I said. So if he said this ages ago, I apologise. He did. He said it 11 minutes ago. Fly over Fred says, Lawton has to start every single game for now. Yep, I agree. Roberts is 5 to 10 yards out of position every single time. Yep. Ivan Richardson, massive game Sunday, win this, and we are 3 off Leeds with a game in hand. I've not even thought about Leeds. I'm just wanting to go above Everton right now. I've not even thought about Leeds, but yeah, that is an interesting stat. David Elliott says atmosphere in the ground was so much better than against City. Yeah, well, I think we just turned up against City, didn't we? Knowing what was going to happen, it was just a procession. Connor Alston, I tell you what, I'll put this to the boys. Connor Alston says, if we beat Norwich, are we staying up? Simon, what do you think? If we beat Norwich, do you think we will go on and stay up?
I'm almost confident that we are staying up right now. I genuinely mean that, and I said it before the game. I genuinely think if we beat Norwich, it's almost certain that we are staying up, because the fixtures, I mean, I'm sure you've just listed them then. I will try to half listen, but the fixtures that Everton have got compared to what we've got, the fixtures that Watford have got compared to what we've got, Watford is a winnable game in my eyes for us. West Ham is, it's one of them games where they are a good team. They are in form, but we've done it before against a good West Ham side. And then we've got home games, and anybody at Turf Moor, I think we can win on our day. When we're playing with the right 11 selected, no stubbornness, just the right 11 selected, we can beat anyone at Turf Moor.
That's a dig at Sean, if I ever heard anything. Laura says, when did this start? Didn't know it was happening. If, like Laura, you have just joined the chat, the debate, don't worry, it stays on YouTube. You can watch it from the start, or the podcast will be up pretty much ASAP. But yeah, just going back into the... tell you what, Dan, do you think if we beat Norwich, we're staying up?
It's interesting because a lot of people say Everton's running. It's it's dirty, it's dangerous. They've got teams that are all up in the top half of the table.
Yeah.
To them games just free hits. You've seen what we're like against teams around us this season. We're bottom of that form table when it comes to beating teams around us. So it almost scares me a little bit as well that we've got the better running when you look at it on paper. But when it comes to the actual match, it doesn't half make your arse twitch when you play these teams. Everton could go there thinking, you know what, if we get something, we get something. As you say, it could go either way. Beat Norwich, I'm quietly confident, but this is Burnley Football Club, and the season we've had this season, never say never. But I'd have to say I'm quietly confident if we were to beat Norwich.
Yeah, to be honest, when we were 2-1 down at half time, I was saying to my dad, I'm not even going to watch this fucking Norwich game because I'm on a stag do on at weekend. So I'm going to have to rush home for the Norwich game or whatever the plan is. I don't even know. So I remember thinking, I'm not even going to bother watching it. But then I want to go now, but obviously I can't. That's how much it fucking changes, doesn't it? But just reading out some of the comments, Mike Green says Everton versus United. So it is United, 12:30 on Saturday. That's a quick turnaround for Everton. Excuse me. But I don't know. I'm not confident in United. This shit. Like I don't think it's like a really tough game for Everton. I think they can win that. Not if they play like they did today. So
they are better at home as well this season. Everton, they've been a lot better at home.
Yeah, they were actually quite good at home. To be fair, so yeah, we could easily. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that they lose that game, though, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we beat Norwich. So fingers crossed. Connor Clark says, if Dice goes with the same team on Saturday, we win. I don't think he should go with the same team for being on a Connor. I think you may have just joined the chat, but we talked earlier about the Roberts-Lawton debate. And you know what? I want to talk about Wout Weghorst because he was poor again today. Let's be honest. I like him, and I think he's a good player, but he just doesn't suit us, or Daesh is just not finding a way to make him work. Simon, you had your finger in the air like you wanted to talk at primary school.
So, the thing with Weghorst is, I've said it in the stands to everybody around me. If Chris Wood played half the way that Weghorst has been playing recently, he would have been battered by us. But literally, the fans would have battered him. I don't care if he's not playing or we don't play to his strengths. That's fine. But that Chris Wood did play to our strengths, and we played to his strengths. Sorry, and Weghorst doesn't suit that style of play, so we play it to his feet. But then the rest of the team doesn't work that way. So it's like you can't work the whole team around that one style of play when the whole team works better another way. I'd like to see Lawton with Weghorst now coming into it, because he only got a chance to cross to one cross, I think, and it were a brilliant cross, to be fair, but no one were there. So I'd like to see what happens from there going forward. But I think that Burnley fans are very sort of funny with who we give criticisms to. That's the way I'm going to say it.
Yeah, I think he's got a bit of time. I think as Weghorst, if he plays like this, and he's still playing like this, midway through next season, I think he probably will just get as much abuse as what Chris Wood did. I think Chris would have been here for a long time when he started getting that abuse. He hadn't necessarily been poor for a long time, but it's like certain players, when you've been here for an X amount of time, you put in 2 or 3 bad performances because people are that comfortable with you. It's easy to criticise. I think with Weghorst, I think he's got a bit of time because he's still quite new. People think, he's still just
that's
at
the thing with
Premier League.
Burnley, and most football fans in general, we want to see new blood. We want to see exciting players, big transfers. That's what the Premier League promised us when we were coming into it. It never quite happened, but that's what you were expecting.
Yeah.
And now we're getting it, and we want to see that. We want to see Roberts playing. We want to see things. But at the end of the day, Lawton was an informed player at the time we dropped him. He was playing some of the best football we've seen. He was never injured. He was never even. It was just dropped, and it's things like that. And like I said, Jay Rodriguez, he has to play. This is not a bias by me. I don't put Jay Rodriguez there, but I want to see Jay Rodriguez starting because he's the best striker we've got by a mile at the minute. He's the best striker we've got, so he needs to play.
I think Jay is the best sort of like number 10 we've got. He works well with the main striker. But personally, I would have Jay and Vidra up top next game.
Well, we said
Dan,
this last season, didn't we?
Sorry, go on, Simon. Yeah, sorry,
we said
Dan.
this last season.
Can someone talk?
Dan. Go on, Dan. Go on, Dan. Get into him.
The thing is, right, I look at Weghorst and I think, as Simon said, the Chris Wood situation, spot on, absolutely spot on. There were a film based about Weghorst, weren't there? White Men Can't Jump.
but he's right. I don't. I've never seen somebody so bad in the air, and he's 6'6". He jumps and he crouches while he's in the air. What are you doing, man? I understand that's not his strength. I understand that's not his strength. But if we can't find a system that works for him, and we can't then change the entire ethos of the team for one player, then maybe it's not going to. I don't think Daesh can. I don't think Daesh can.
Talking about the strengths,
their goals is what I'm trying to say.
Talking about strengths of players, right? We know Nick Pope ain't good for playing out back, so we don't often give it to him unless it's a last resort. So we are quite good. I know, well, that's one of them, isn't it? But we're quite good at adapting to the players' strengths. So you can't just like put Nick Pope and say, right, listen, Nick, you've got to start learning how to kick the ball. Because it's never going to happen. He's too thingy. So Chris Wood. Weghorst is never going to learn to be that target man who's going to flick it on, win headers, put his elbows where defenders don't want them. He ain't going to be that player. So we need to change the way we play, or do something different with our strikers.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I personally, I think Vidra. I'm not Vidra's biggest fan. I'll be honest with you. But I thought he came on. Did well. Exciting. He made runs in behind. He stretched the play. That's all he did.
Yeah,
whereas we all right, stretching the play is good in the last 15, 20 minutes. It might not necessarily be the best thing to do in the first 10, but he stretched the play. And these long balls that we kept hitting into the channels in the first half that weren't going anywhere, Vidra suddenly had like a thing for somebody to chase, and then they'd kick it out. We'll be 30 yards up the pitch. Dan, what would you do? Who would you play up front against Norwich?
I'm same as you guys, Jay and Vidra. I think as much as Wout gives us a bit of something with his feet, Jay was the better person to pick today. I'm glad that he didn't go with Corney up there with Wout. you need somebody like Jay, Burnley lad, in there when it's a game of such importance, in my opinion. It's like when you play these rival matches, having a player in there that's from your hometown club. They understand it, they believe it. So that for me was massive today. But yeah, I think Val could not do with the rest, but sort of do what Dash did with McNeil. You know, give him that one game out and just see what happens.
Mate, you can't nail it any better than that. Dwight McNeil is one of the best players that we've got. There's no doubts about it. But like you said, sometimes it's not personal to say this ain't working right now. It doesn't mean that it's not that you're not going to play a future for us, but right now, Vegas isn't doing it. So, like I said, can we change it? Can we afford to waste time? We know that we get criticised because we don't make enough transfers. Remember when shit were going down and people put a team sheet up and it was from like 4 seasons ago and it was pretty much name for name the same team that played in this game. Now, that is a negative at some points, but then we also know that team can do it. And if that's what it takes this year to keep us up, January transfers often don't do the business in that first part. It's a common thing. You know, there's big players, bigger and better players, the bigger clubs that have not done it in that first part, but then gone on to be best players at that club. It's not a negative to say, listen, you're doing awesome at the minute. We're just going to try something different.
No, the thing is, as well, it's an adaptive period at Burnley at the minute. This is why I'm fed up of, I understand people going dash out and stuff like that, but we are changing. The Premier League has got better. We are adapting to it. We are trying to expand our football a bit. And I think for me personally, it's come too little too late for a bunch of players that are overage and so used to just playing Route 1. I think you're expecting players who for 4 or 5 seasons have just played the same style football. You're all of a sudden expecting them to turn on the pizzazz. Have you heard? No chance. It's not going to happen. So that's another thing I think that's bit us in the arse. That we're too static. We've got too many robots. You could see today that there was so much space we could run into, and it's only the likes of when Vidra came on, or if Kone were trying to get down the channel, where people are running into those pockets of space. Before that, they were just left open.
For me, we didn't get into the box enough. We didn't charge into the box enough. I think Louts there were bollocking one of them at one point.
We don't get in there in numbers as well, though, Sam. And that's another thing that pisses me off. We get forward, and there's like one person in the box who's isolated because he's got 2 defenders up his arse. So get bodies in the box.
At the end of the day, the Burnley game's just on my right now. And that we didn't get in the box enough. I think when Louts come on, he was desperate to whip that ball, and no one were anywhere near him, but no one were in the box. So he had to play it short to Lennon, and we were lucky we got a free kick from it because he had nowhere to go. But we put the ball in from one corner, and they couldn't deal with it, and we got a scruffy, horrible goal, but it went in. And for me, that should have been a
goal, but who gives a fuck?
Should have been a sign off. Let's get the ball in the fucking box. Let's put pressure on him. And very little crosses came in, very little, and it was disappointing that we didn't capitalise on what looked like a weakness.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of comments coming in on the Weghorst thing. Flyover Fred, it's been on the screen for a few minutes. Says, anytime the ball went into Weghorst's feet, he didn't give it away. You notice both our open play goals came from getting the ball down and getting to the byline. Stop hoofing it and we stay up. Couldn't agree more. I am sick of, and I feel like I'm being a bit of a dickhead for criticising Dash after we've won the game and he's kind of turned it around with maybe his subs and his half-time bollocking. But we need to stop being such a dinosaur, just constantly hoofing it. Get the ball down, get Cork in the middle, and try and play some football like we did against Spurs. Yeah.
It's so obvious sometimes.
It's so obvious, isn't it? It's just, this is why I tweeted at half time saying it's not rocket science, because that's what he does. He tries to create a joke all the time saying, oh, just kick the ball in the net. It's not rocket science. Well, it's not rocket science either, Sean, to fucking start a different midfielder, because that midfield too doesn't work.
If you want to talk about fine margins, there's a finer margin by taking Westwood out and putting Jack Cork in. How's that sound? That's the finest margin you could find, Dash.
Exactly.
We can all see it.
Exactly.
We can all see it.
Did you guys know Tony Bellew was in the stands?
No, but he's a big Everton fan, isn't it? And I just want to point out a comment off Adam Kelly. I think it's coming across a little bit wrong. He says, lads, get off Weghorst, agree with Flyover Fred and USA. All Flyover Fred has said is the exact same thing as us. We are not playing to his style. It's not a criticism of Weghorst. I am not saying Weghorst is not good enough. This is exactly what we've said. You're
we don't play to his strengths. So
exactly.
We need to change the team.
Footballer. He's a good
footballer. We can't do that now.
yeah, we need to play to the man's strengths, but we're not doing. And I don't think the rest of
We're
the
not
squad
doing it
is
in
capable
pre-season.
of playing to his strengths. Exactly. He needs a pre-season. We need new blood that can come in and play to his strengths. Nobody thinks we should get rid of Weghorst. Nobody thinks we should drop him forever or get rid of him. He's a very, very good footballer. He just needs to play in a better system. Like I said, it's Dyche's fault that Weghorst isn't doing very well. And the way that we play, Dyche can't get the best out of him. It's not Weghorst's fault. That's what I'm not saying that Weghorst isn't good enough. I'm saying that he doesn't work with us at the minute because, in my opinion, Dyche can't get the best out of him. It's Dyche's fault, not Wout's.
Yeah, I've like you said to you, that my ending sentence on the Weghorst, just to clarify it again, was this is the man that will take us forward, and it's January. It's not going to happen in that 6-month window. It often doesn't happen. But he is a guy to say, listen, it's not working quite now, but we haven't got really time to sort of change the whole dynamic of Burnley Football Club. We're just going to do this for now, but you are definitely going to be the future of it.
Yeah, completely agree. It's not a criticism
100%.
of Weghorst, it's a criticism of Dyche and his style of play. I thought that was pretty obvious, but I had to bring the comment on just to make it obvious, even more obvious. But I'll tell you what I do want to do. I just want to bring something in that everybody will love to see. Look at that. How much better does that look? So we are currently
miles better.
18th on 29 games played, 24 points. Everton, same games played, 25 points. We are now 2 games in hand on Leeds and only 6 points behind them. I've not even thought about Leeds, to be honest. I've not even thought about Leeds, like I said earlier. And 7 points off Newcastle. We win against Norwich. 3 points off Leeds, 4 points off Newcastle.
Newcastle fans have been in touch with me since the full-time whistle, and they've been saying, keep up that momentum till the end of the season, and that last game of the season could be massive because you could drag us right back into it.
Yeah. I think Newcastle will be. Honestly, I think it's just between 1 of 4. I will be honest.
Yeah.
I'll be very surprised if Leeds get dragged into it. Even more surprised if Newcastle get dragged into it, and still quietly surprised if Brentford get dragged into it. I still thought, even though they beat us, I still thought they would maybe kind of get dragged back into it. But that win against Chelsea, sensational. Fair play to them. But yeah, Simon, how much better does that look?
Yeah, massively better, mate. It could have looked horrendous. 7 points adrift, it would have been, wouldn't it?
7 points would have been dead and buried.
It would have been dead and buried. Everton scraped a win against Newcastle, right? I want to look at that form there. I know there's an L in there, a W in there. Sorry, white up. But they genuinely, the keeper were flat-footed, if you remember that goal from Iwobi, I think it was who scored it. And they never looked like winning on the 103rd minute, I think it was, when they scored. It was 13 minutes in of injury time. Absolute shambles how they won that game. So
every time Everton have had a pitch invader on the pitch, they've won the game 1-0.
Right. People, this is a public service announcement. Stop invading the fucking pitch at Goodison or any Everton game, please. if you're thinking of running on the pitch, just think of Burnley Football Club and don't do it.
I tell you what, though, can we just point out, right? So we've got 1 win there in that sort of Everton fixtures there. It was somehow a fluke.
1 win in the
as well. I don't understand how they fucking got it, but they got it. And then they just the team morale. Look at the state of them players at the end of that 90 minutes when Burnley fans were running over.
They were all on the floor, weren't they? I noticed that. They were dead and fucking buried.
Like scoring a 90th minute goal on FIFA and the players just dropped.
It was bizarre, mate. They literally dropped. I tell you what, if that was FIFA, mate, there'd have been some controllers going through its screen. I'm telling you.
Trust me, I watched the game through my Xbox. So I literally, after I'd finished doing like the watch along and stuff, I looked at side and I thought, "Why's my pad there? Please tell me that game were real. Please tell me I've not just played a game of fucking FIFA."
Could you imagine?
I've got the fixtures here if you want me to read them out. They've got.
Well, I'll tell you what, Simon. Hold on, wait a second. What? Oh, these Everton fixtures. Go. Sorry,
Everton have got Manchester United, Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester, Watford, Brentford, Palace, Arsenal. So the next 4 are Manchester United, Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea.
I'm not a fan of that last 4 games though. Watford, Brentford, Arsenal. Yeah, they'll be going for Championship. Then who were the last one? Brentford.
So they've got
Watford,
Brentford who are 14th, Palace who are 9th, and Arsenal are 5th.
Yeah.
When you say the stat, you say the team names, it sounds shit, but
yeah, but it's one of them. I think Palace will be on the bench at that point, on the beach at that point. They've got not to play for, so that's a worry. Arsenal, I think they're going to capitulate, if I'm being honest. I think the pressure of the top 4 battle is going to be too much. They were shite against Palace. So yeah, they've definitely got a worse running than us. That's obvious. And you brought me on nicely there, Simon, to something I was going to do. So I will do it just now, and I'm talking a little bit more to try and make it not obvious that I am bringing the fixtures in. But now I've said it, it is obvious. But there you go. The Burnley fixtures are coming on your screen now. It's fucking tiny. You can't see it. Yeah, hold on. How do I make that bigger? That's one. That's two. Right. So there you go. So you've got one more, will it?
No. Play with a little Joe. It gets it bigger, mate.
There we go.
There you go. Spoken like a true, yeah. So we've got next up is Norwich. Winnable. Let's be honest. I feel weird saying winnable because we've been short all season, and we do 0-0 with them at home, and we do 0-0 with Watford at home, but it is winnable. West Ham. People are going to write this game off, right? Because it's West Ham. But they look tired. They are in Europa League quarterfinal clash, and they are playing Lyon 3 days before this. Their focus is going to be on Lyon, 100%. I think we can win that. I'm more confident about that one than I am about the Southampton home game, which is also winnable.
Yeah, that West Ham game is another one that if we do get past Norwich, then yeah, West Ham I think is another winnable game potentially. As you say, their main focus is giving Mark Noble the best send off they possibly can, and if that means trying to bring a European trophy back, then so be it. But
they've got a big game on Thursday. I think.
Then they've got another Premier League game. Then they've got Lyon again. Then they've got us. They've got to be fucked.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. And if they beat Lyon, which hopefully they do, because I like to see British clubs do well. If they go on and beat Lyon, and they're in the semi-final, they're literally, like you said, they might be on goal over for the weekend against us.
Yeah, I do think we can win that. And I feel weird saying that with the position that they've been in this season, but I do think we can win that. Then we've got Southampton, winnable. They're on the beach. They can't go up. They can't go down. Wolves. Can Wolves still do anything? They're going to be a tough one. They're decent away from home. As
I want to say, can they not still get Conference League?
Oh, does that even count? I think they can get Conference League. I don't know, but
it counts if you Spurs.
Yeah. Then Watford away, shite, winnable. This is the difference. I wouldn't have said winnable to all these games if we'd have lost tonight. No fucking way. And I know I wouldn't. I know I'm being fickle, but I don't care. Before someone says something, I don't care. But Aston Villa, they're hit and miss. Winnable. Spurs away, write that one off. Then Villa away, again, hit and miss. Winnable, but probably more likely leaning on the fence of no. Then Newcastle at home, they're probably going to be safe by then. I would want them to be safe by then. I don't want them to have to play for something if we need to win that game.
Yeah.
So I said before this game, we had 10 games left and we need to win at the minimum 4. At the minimum 4, probably 5. Where are the wins coming from in your two's eyes? Anyone take the kid? Dan, you start because Simon started every other question.
I'll go the Norwich game. So I think we need to make Turf Moor our fortress again.
Yeah.
That's got to be the main focal point. Get the fans behind us. The Southampton game, as you say, they've been hit and miss. They're on the beach. West Ham are potentially a bit laggy. You know what? I'd even
it's at home. It's at home. You know what I mean?
It wouldn't surprise me if it's just typical Burnley though, where it's we need to win to confirm it against Newcastle on the final day, and then it's the good old pitch. I don't want that. I don't want that. I'd rather it be concrete bar then. But I don't know. It's just typical Burnley to do something like that. But I'd want the win against Newcastle as well. I think that'd be good.
Yeah. I'd like to beat them on the last day. But I want to be safe by then. I think we could beat Norwich. So in my opinion, I think we could beat... I honestly genuinely believe, and there's no way I'd have said this earlier, but I think we can win the next 2 games. And if we win them 2 games, just look at the position that we are in. I'm not saying we will win them. I would 100% take 4 points right now. But I think we need to win one of the next 2. I don't think we should really be... I think 5 points from the next 3 I'd be happy with. So win 1, draw 2. I'll be happy with that. But I think we can win. If we beat Norwich and then beat Southampton, I don't give a shit about the West Ham result. We can lose that. I think there's people in the comments here saying Jose says 40 points to be safe. No chance this season, mate.
Nah.
36, I think. I think 35, 36, but Jimmy Carpenter reckons 33. I'll just look at the league table again. I won't put it on screen because I've done it. Yeah, so if we get another, where's everyone's wins coming from? I think 30, 36. I think Russell Mercer says 35. I think we can stay up on 36
Easily.
So that's what are we on now? 24. Maths is shit. So 3 wins and 3 draws.
It's a big ask, but it's manageable.
Yeah. Simon, what do you think? A lot of people now. Mike Green says 35. Simon, where do you think the points are coming from, and how many points do you think we're going to need to stay up?
Well, going on your maths, which is I still haven't worked it out myself, your maths, but we'll go from Norwich is a must win and Watford is a must win. If we don't beat teams like that are in and around us, then do we deserve to be in the Premier League? That's one way of looking at it. Villa at home, Fortress Turf Moor, completely agree with that. I think Villa at home is a winnable game. I don't think we get beat against the Wolves at home because as good as they are in form, they actually aren't scoring many goals. So if we can sort that defence out, maybe Ben Mee's back by then, get a bit more surety. No disrespect to Collins, again, the future, but not right now. I think that we can definitely sort of get a draw there. I'll be buzzing with that. Then there's and then I'm hopefully a couple more draws towards the end and then beat Newcastle.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Norwich, Watford, Newcastle are my 3 main ones.
Yeah, like I said, we had 10 games left. We needed to win minimum 4, probably 5. We've got 1. We can easily get 3.
We are relatively successful against Eddie Howe previous seasons. So you'd hope that we could get a win against Newcastle.
But we were short against Newcastle at St James's, weren't we?
Was that pre-Eddie Howe? That was pre-Eddie Howe.
No, that was like Eddie Howe's first win. That was their first win of the season. Eddie Howe's first win in Newcastle. Mike Green says you will beat Norwich, Saints, and Watford and draw to West Ham and Villa at home. That's me. Is that going to be enough? Is that going to be enough though? I said minimum.
You look
4.
at Everton's running, I'd say so.
Yeah, probably. It depends how they get on against United on Saturday. I'm not a big fan of United this season. They've been hit and miss. So Phil Wilcox says 36. Norwich, Saints, and Villa at home. Draw Watford, Villa away, and Newcastle. I still think
never know. Knowing Watford, they might have a new manager by then.
Yeah, true.
Different.
Yeah, it's half 11, so I'll start wrapping up here. We've had more and more views as the night's gone on. We've got quite a decent amount of views by now. So if you've joined it later on, don't worry. When we end the stream, you can start it from the beginning. Obviously, it's half 11, boys and girls. You don't need to watch it now. You can watch it again tomorrow. But I will also be putting a podcast out on the Turfcast podcast podcast app. And if you haven't subscribed already on the YouTube channel, please do. We're getting quite a lot of viewers, like I said. So please subscribe to Turfcast as well. But is there anything else that anyone wants to add before we go? Simon, I'll start. In fact, no, I'm not going to do that yet. One word answer. Simon, yes or no? Are we staying up?
Yes. Said it 3 times now. Yes.
Yeah, Daniel, yes or no? Are we staying up?
Yes.
Laura says, I've given you a little like. You're welcome. To be fair, Laura, you're like one of the main fans. You've been doing that every bloody fucking video. Also, if you are watching him, and you've already subscribed, like it. My one word answer for always staying up, maybe. Can I do that?
How are we going to do that? How are we going to do that, you shit house? How are we going to do that?
I have shit out. Get your comments in, yes or no. Just as I'm wrapping up now, if you think we are staying up, just type in yes or type in no. If you think we are staying up. Is there anything else any of you boys want to add before we do go?
I want to add my man of the match because I don't think we've done a man of the match yet.
No, we had that. You know what? I forget about man at match. Cornet got it on Sky. Simon, who do you think gets it? Yeah,
I'll go for Tarky.
A few people have mentioned Tarky. Laura's mentioned it. Someone else has mentioned it.
I just think that there was a countless times in the second half, especially where it could have been all over if it weren't for him getting back. There were 2 specific blocks that I can think of that were almost like goal-saving blocks. They were that good. I don't even know how we got to the first one. I think we were so caught up on the left side, or right defensively as I was looking at it, sorry. And then all of a sudden it shifted and he got us straight across, made that block. And for me, he did that all afternoon. So yeah, Tarky's my man of the match.
Daniel, your thoughts on the mom?
I mean, she's all right. She's not too bad. I mean, she
Terrible.
don't
We're
give me
not
pocket
American,
money
mate.
anymore.
We're not
No
American.
pocket money anymore. These beer tokens have gone out the window. But
Jimmy Carpenter's laughing his head off because he's American. He's like, I get that. That's American joke.
No, I'm with Simon. I think Tarky, as he says, you know, he made the mistake by giving the ball away, but he was there to cut it out. He redeemed himself. So yeah, I'd say Tarky, hands down.
Yeah, everyone's agreeing, and I thought I was going to like give a random man of the match here that no one would agree with. I thought people, Jimmy Commenter's laughing. He says, haha, good one. Because I nailed the accent. That's why it's funny, because I nailed the accent. But yeah, everyone in the comments is saying Tarky as well. So I think it must have been pretty obvious that it was Tarky. I thought Lennon was close, only mainly because of his work rate. But again, he's got a good work rate, but not an amazing amount of end products. But he's probably had the better end products of some of the people out there. I thought Tarky was the obvious man of the match, though. So yeah, I agree with that. But we'll start wrapping that up now. Like I said, if you want to watch the rest of this, then when we end this, which is going to be happening in a few minutes, you can watch it pretty much from the start straight away. And the podcast will be up within the next half an hour. And if you go into work in the morning or school or college or whatever, then it will be on the podcast app as well. But Dan, obviously, you've got your own YouTube channel. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, I'll be over on Turf Morehouse TV or just Turf Morehouse, whatever you want to search. Search Fat Bald Ginger Guy, and I'll probably pop up as well.
And it will pop up, or it'll be you or Dash. So
yeah, either be me, Dash, or Fat Bastard from Austin Powers. But
or Simon actually. He's not been listed. He don't even know. I've got away with that one.
Oh, you'll have to watch it back, Simon.
Yeah. On the podcast app tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, do it. But no, yeah, thanks for having me on. And yeah, so much more optimism now. Happy as a pig in shit.
Yeah, fair enough. Thanks for joining us all, boys. It's been a pleasure. It's been good to do this with a positive sort of like mindset, isn't it? I don't think I've done one of these after a win yet.
It's almost like counselling.
When we were 2-1 down at half time, I remember thinking I might fucking cancel this, even though I'd already messaged you both. I might fucking cancel this. I don't see the point. But then I remember thinking, it'll be like therapy. But yeah, obviously doing it after the win is much better. You get more viewers as well. So more people joining in, having a laugh. Graham Jennings says, enjoy the rest of your evening, chaps. Roll on Sunday. Yes, can't wait for Sunday now. I'm looking forward to it. But thank you for joining us, boys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening if you're listening on the podcast later on. And thank you for leaving a comment if you did. But thanks for now, and we will see you doing a preview probably for the Norwich game.